Hi, my name is Karen Taylor, and I'm an artist for my community. My poem is entitled My Death Story. Long before I was born, my father's mother died. She had one daughter and four sons and did geometry puzzles in waiting rooms. The son that was youngest when she died married the aunt I most want to be like. Her baby, who is to be born this December, three of her siblings were killed before they were born. On my mother's side, just before I was born, my cousin John died in the hospital after only a few days. He was to be the firstborn son. My mother wanted to take his name as mine if I were born a boy. My aunt refused, and I was born a girl. My father was a physical therapist for children who were terminally ill. He was often at funerals. We moved to Samoa, where I learned to kill an octopus by putting my fingers in its beak, then quickly turning it inside out. The fruit bat, crippled by the hurricane, which emptied out the papaya we brought it with its long tongue, died upside down, and flies crowded its eyes. I learned what death is. Later, after we'd been to Samoa and back, my mother's mother died. 1 year later, my mother's father died. I love the picture of him with his pants rolled up, standing with his toes in the gray sand of a shallow California surf. My mother bought a piano. During our time in Kenya, many would die at the hospital and be buried behind my house, with week-long funerals always overlapping in song. I insisted on helping the men to slaughter the cows for the feasts. During the heavy rains, bones would wash up beside the road. I only remember one wet skull, to be honest, by the side of the road, but we all accepted that the graves were not deep enough for the dead. I left that place and returned home, and I felt ghosts crowding me along with the students in the halls when the buzzer rang. After I started community college, but before his graduation, the leader of my high school Bible study ran his car into a tree. People said it was because he was gay and his father was a preacher. He was very devout and always wore long sleeves. It made some things very clear. In Costa Rica, my sister and I took turns dancing with a man. We asked him about his family, his mother, his father, his sisters, his brothers, his children. "They are all dead," he said, "in that big war that was happening." At Bennington, the whole freshman class gathered in mourning under the big white tent set up for our orientation, 9/11. Alyssa was hit by a truck on an icy road and died. We mourned her loss. Adam, who I had considered something of a nemesis, who was a pornographer and who took Liz's virginity, hung himself off campus. I learned what grief is. My poetry teacher died of a heroin overdose a few days after I recited that poem to her over the phone. I cheated and read from the page, even though I had it memorized. 2 girls fell through a window during a dance rehearsal. My best friend Scott performed CPR, and Kelly was able to donate her organs. Scott's car flipped down an embankment that next winter, crushing the cab. He was unhurt. A freshman I didn't know killed herself over fieldwork term. Finally, Becca hung herself during finals week as we were preparing for Christmas. I left that place. In San Francisco, James had watched his father kill his mother. I could never get him down for a nap. I couldn't figure out how to explain to Gregory why his daytime aide had disappeared. His mother said that he understood gone. Gregory got off the bus and I met him. "Sherman?" he'd ask. "Gone," I'd say. My grandfather died while my father was crossing India with my sister in a rickshaw. Performing the eulogy at his funeral, I became a grown woman. He had spent a year teaching me bookbinding. Today, on the Day of the Dead, a client died in her chair, and the other receptionist found her body. The urge to die is like the urge to urinate, and we drink glass after glass of water. Thank you.